I'm completely broke, living in a 9-meter room, barely having enough money to buy food. But how long do I want to keep living like that? Isn't it time for a change? So I looked online, how to make money, and the answer was
coding.
Since I really need some food for the next weeks, I decided to learn to code apps in 7 days to get rid of my money problems. I started things off by looking for the best programming languages and frameworks to create apps. There are a lot of options out there. In the end, I went with Flutter for the app development and Firebase for the backend. Getting used to my daily routine was definitely tough. I woke up at 9 AM starting to learn for university for an hour, then breakfast, some coding, a quick gym session, more coding, a short break and coding till sleep. All aimed at my goal, develop 7 apps in 7 days, each more complex than the last one. I coded so much, I even started to dream in code at night. I started by following a tutorial from freecodecamp.org focusing on creating a full stack Instagram clone. Maybe it wasn't the best idea to start with that kind of project, but well. After 3 days, I managed to create a login and registration screen while also handling authentication with Firebase, but then I got an error, and I didn't know how to fix it. The course was a little bit outdated, so following that course didn't help to fix the problem as well. So I thought, what would a good programmer do? Yes, take the project and throw it into the trash. So there was day 4 and I didn't manage to finish a single project. So how should I go from here? I decided to just try to code on my own. I learned the basics in the last 3 days and started with the simplest project, a counter app where number increments when pressing a button. 2 hours later I was done and I started my next project, an expense tracker that allows you to add expenses with name, price, category and show you the sum of all expenses. Again, 2 hours later I was done. Every time I didn't know something or needed an explanation, I asked ChatGPT. Learning with ChatGPT was really a game changer for me. Project 3 was a little bit harder for me. I never used an API before, but I needed to use one in order to create the web app I was aiming for. An API basically allows software components to communicate with each other. Using the weather API, for example, allowed me to fetch the weather data for pretty much any city. In the end, the app was able to track the location of the user and show him weather data according to his current location. I know a lot of you will say that these apps are all trash and I should finally start to code something useful. So how about a recipe app or a social media app? On day 5, I started to code my own recipe app. I was working on that app for the entire day. In the end, I was able to display multiple categories on the front page. Each of these categories displayed multiple recipes. The recipe page consisted of an image, a title, ingredients, as well as instructions. Not a masterpiece, but I feel like one could release that app in the App Store with a little more work. All of these apps are alright, but let's be honest, everyone's dream would be to be able to code a social media app like Instagram or Facebook. Therefore, I started to dive deep into Firebase on day 6. Firebase provides authentication and databases. A database is necessary to store data. It's actually similar to a library. You store your books in a library as well, and if you need data, you go there, grab a book and read it. A database actually works exactly like that. The main difference is that it's virtual. I found a channel named Mitch Coco and he really did an amazing job at explaining the fundamentals of Firebase. I spent an entire day trying to understand and memorize the syntax of creating, reading, updating and deleting data. On the final day, I was certain that coding 7 apps in 7 days is not possible anymore, but I wanted to get at least one social media app done. I followed another tutorial of Mitch Coco, spending the entire day until midnight to create that app. In the end, a user could register, log in, log out, go to a profile page, see all of the users and create posts and share them with others. Obviously, I followed along with the tutorial, but I feel like I can create my own app right now. I'm still broke, but I keep to improve in the next month and one day I release my own app.